Hi dragon friends and book lovers. I'm Krista, welcome back to my channel. I've been reading through goth fiction this month. I made a video about some of the books that I've read this month. I read 2 more since then. All the Dead Lie Down, and this one's from Kiri McCauley. The other one is A Dangerous Education by Megan Chance. Both of these were gothic fiction. Both were completely different from each other. This is typical goth. This is more, you're at a manor, a big, spooky, old house. It's just, this is eerie, and this is good in the paranormal sense, in the maybe some unnatural power sense, where this was very much real. This was realism. This was just kids being angry and frustrated with the world, and them not feeling like they can trust anyone, and the anger that they feel. I'm very fascinated by breaking down what makes this genre what it is when there's such wide varieties. What do they all have in common to make them tick? So I thought it'd be fun to do a little vlog about 3 books. The first one is The Wonder of All Things by Jason Mott. This one I heard from somewhere. I don't know where I heard it from, but that it was a kind of a goth tale. I don't think it's going to be goth, but somewhere, I don't remember where I heard this. So I've had it on my list to want to read during this month, during goth month, because I heard someone say it was more of a gothic tale. So I'm kind of worried about this one not being goth, or as goth as I want it to be. Poor Things by Alistair Gray. This is obviously a huge trailer going on everywhere. Poor Things, the movie with Emma Stone. So I do want to see that movie too, but I want to read the book first. And then we have Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon. And this one, I don't know what it's about, but I want to read it. I've had it on my shelf for 3 years, maybe 2 or 3 years at least. I really want to read it so bad. So I'm hoping that one for sure I get to. Reading Sorrowland by Rivers Solomon right now. I've only gotten like 30 pages in, and I'm trying to take notes. I'm gonna fold my son's laundry while I talk to you. I wanted to just update you really quick on the first 30 pages because it's kind of confusing, but it's so good. It's written really, really well, and it's a very slow reveal, but a lot is happening. It's not like people are gonna get bored with the story at all. Now I'm starting to understand where this story's going. So I just want to document it quick, what I thought, where it's going, and then I'll touch base maybe later and see if I'm on the right path or if it's completely different. I don't know. But we have Vern, who is our main girl. She is married to Solomon. He's a reverend, leader of a compound, which sounds like it's a religious compound, and it sounds very cultish. It's very strict with their beliefs, and she escapes him, and he's hired some white man. It's a black compound, by the way. They sound like they're very isolated in this compound. Some of the things that she said suggests that he is kind of fear-mongering them on the outside world, what's going on out there. And I don't know how long they've been on the compound. We get some flashbacks of her when she was 13, 15 years old, before she was Reverend's wife. And I don't know if she married this old man or what happened, what's going on. I have no idea. It's slowly revealing the backstory of this compound. And it's not the creation of it, it's her already living in the compound. And the Reverend has people in his pocket, judges, sheriffs. I don't know, you just get this feeling that this compound is just kind of messed up. And with her on the run, she has set of twin babies, two baby twins. And she tried to escape one other time, and she was brought right back by somebody who was outside the compound and was believed to be a sheriff, and he found out where she was from, and he brought her back despite her saying that she's trying to escape and she's trying to get away. So she is learning quickly that everything that the Reverend said about the outside world might be true, that they're against her or whatnot. They call themselves the Canaanites, maybe? The Canaanites, I think is what they call themselves. She's on the run now with her babies, and this man who is chasing after her she calls him the Fiend, and she doesn't know how he's connected to the Reverend, her husband, why he's after her. He's hunting her though. He's shooting at her. That she's been in the woods now for a year. So she's been living for a long time with her two babies, her little babies, off the land. And this Fiend is relentless. He's still after her. He's not letting up. So it's just a really awesome story. I think it's going to be very deep. It's going to be leaving you thinking and wondering what is. And I like it. It's really well done. It's really well written. I think if you're fans of books like from Toni Morrison, if you're a fan of her type of writing, I think you'll be a fan of this book as well. And this book is even a little easier, I think, to understand than some of Toni Morrison's books, but it's really good. And I think I'm gonna start listening to an audiobook while I get some cleaning done, and then read physically again while I take a bath. Okay, my kids are sleeping. I think I'm gonna get some more reading done now. But I wanted to check in. I'm at 160 pages in. There's just so much to think about. It's not like there's just tons of going on, but there's so much to think about and figure out what it means. The story's set up where you're following her through the woods, through what's going on now, her and her two kids. But it also has flashbacks of what was things that have went on during her time at the convent. Is that what it's called? The religious commune. Is it called commune? Oh, I don't know. I didn't bring my notes down. I'm bad with words. Before she left, they were giving her shots and giving everyone shots to go to sleep. And then they bound them to the bed. Everyone, even the Reverend, everyone has to be bound to their bed because they have night terrors. Everyone has night terrors, and I don't know if it's to do with the medicine, because even in the woods now, they talk about her hallucinations. She calls them hauntings. They're very real to her. She chases after them thinking that they're real. There is even something going on with her skin. Her skin is getting really calloused and really hard and super itchy, and she talks about how she feels something alive inside of her, or someone different living inside of her, or something like that. Yes, there's just a lot going on. She left the woods. Now we're with a Lakota woman right now. But yeah, it's really interesting. I'm gonna see if I can finish reading by tonight and then let you know how the rest goes tomorrow. I tried to do this video already once in my bathroom. I was gonna do a little makeup thing, put my makeup on while talking to you guys about this book. I finished it, but the video was in slow motion. And also the beginning of it was like the lights were flickering really bad. I don't know if it's the lighting in my bathroom or what. So I'm just gonna do it in here, in my closet again, where you can see my dirty, or not my dirty, my clean clothes, but they're just hanging around everywhere. Not the best, most ideal place, but I'm gonna finish putting on some makeup while I talk to you guys about this book. Just have some eye makeup to do. I don't have anything. I already did the rest of my makeup in front of the camera. So the first half of this book and the second half of this book felt very different. from each other. I shouldn't say that. I should say the first half of this book and the middle 100 pages were a lot different from each other. It's just so interesting. This book, I would recommend anyone who wants to do a book club to read this book, because there's just so much more than just the story. There's messages upon messages that are open to interpretation and would be so fun to discuss with somebody else who's read the book on what they think the meaning behind the story would be. You know, it's not blunt in your face, which I really enjoy. So I would say anyone who likes Toni Morrison or Percival Everett. If you like those type of books, then you'd like this. However, this book is also a lot easier to understand and to catch on. It's just, you do have to pay attention to your reading. It's not one of those that you can just sit back and let the story happen. If you miss things, it's not a big deal. Like, you need to hear what is going on, what is taking place. This is really difficult in this mirror, this little teeny tiny mirror. The middle 100 pages, she finds this woman, this Lakota woman. They form this very beautiful and tender relationship. It's about identity and acceptance, and it's just, actually I have a passage. I have a quote that I wanted to read to you guys. So for context, the compound that Vern came from was very much about women shouldn't give in to their sexual desires, and that being gay is a white man's disease, and everything at this compound was very much about what white men or white people do to black people, how they bring them down, and that was part of their way of doing it. So she's always fought against these feelings that she's always had. Now she meets this Lakota woman who is very open about it and accepting about it. There's a quote that I wanted to read that I just thought was beautiful. It says, "Nothing's wrong with you. Nothing. You can't tell me anything," said Gogo. "I'm in between," said Vern quietly, looking away shyly. Gogo reached for Vern's chin and turned her face to her. "It's okay," she assured her. "There's a word for that, you know, in English." "I'd rather not know it then," said Vern. Gogo nodded. "Why not?" "Because without a name for it, it's just something I am, a part of life. Once it's got a name, I know that it means someone has studied it, dissected it, pulled it apart. When something has a name, they can say it's bad," said Vern, and she didn't want to hear anybody else's thoughts on what was bad anymore. I just thought that was such a beautiful, kind of sums up those 100 pages as her acceptance and figuring out where she belongs. In those 100 pages and beyond, you're discovering what's going on at that compound and why it was created, what is going on with the whole drugging thing, what's going on with the hauntings, what's going on with the nightmares, how and why those are starting. So it's very fascinating. I can't go into detail about what she finds because it's going to be big spoilers, but it does have a scientific reasoning behind it, but it's exaggerated. It's much like fantasy exaggeration of a scientific explanation, if that makes sense. I loved it. It was a great book. So I woke up this morning and I was thinking, Gothic montage. I need to become what I've read, apply the knowledge I've gained from it. I need to become these characters for the day. This might be the cringiest thing I ever post online. Please don't judge me. I thought it'd be fun to read this book while I do this. I don't know how Gothic it's gonna be, but I wanna read it. This is what I'm gonna read while I make my montage today. And I'm gonna go to my sister's and get her help because she's better at this kind of stuff than I am. I just have this pink dress, so I need to find something else. I'm feeling more school marm. I'm not feeling protagonist. I just got to my sister's house. I'm waiting for her to get here. I'm gonna turn the, how do I turn? I'm car illiterate. We got to my family's house. Every Sunday we go to my family's house by my kids. I still hear a fan or fuzzy sounds. I don't understand it. Anyways, hopefully you can hear it. But every Sunday we come to my family's, my husband and my 3 kids, and I just dropped them off. I drove over to my sister. She dropped off her boyfriend at his family's house so we could have her house to ourselves, and so we don't get too embarrassed by what we're doing. Figured it would be a good time to quickly update you though on this book. I got about close to 100 pages in at this far before she gets here. It opens up with a airplane accident. It hits a town. Everyone was there. It was like a carnival or something. Crashed into the town, and he formed a big hole or a big pit. And there was 2 children that were stuck down in the pit. And Ava and Wash are the 2 children. They're 13 years old, and Ava got up and noticed that her friend was suffering, and she covered his injury with her hand to try to stop the bleeding, and she healed him. No one knew that she had this gift. I don't know if she knew or not that she had this gift either. She's kind of ominous about it. Her friend kind of asked her, and she's just like, what does it matter, you know? The town has gotten crazy over this whole situation. They're demanding that answers. They're demanding to see her, for her to heal their loved ones. And then there's a bunch of news people that are out there. They're offering to bribe people with money to get intel, to get close to them. Like, it's human nature. He does such a great job at really getting the human nature, what people would be doing. It's so easy to sit there and say, leave this girl alone when we're not in this situation, when we don't have a dying relative. What would we do to try to help them if this capability exists, you know? We have Cameron's character, which is she's the stepmom. Ava's mom, her real mom, died, and so we get these chapters we get these couple pages in between each chapter of a memory of her and her mom. And it sounds like her and her mom had a very beautiful relationship before, and now her mom passed away. We don't know how, but we have her stepmom now, Carmen. She seems very lovely. She has her best interests at heart, it seems like. I really like her character. I love their dynamic because Ava doesn't like Carmen very much, and you can feel it without her like saying horrible things, but she just is hesitant towards her, and you know it's because of this relationship with her mom. Her mom and her has such a beautiful connection from those memories that I feel like she thinks that Carmen is trying to take her place, and it's just this reluctance to accept her. It's this guard that's up around Ava, and I really like reading that dynamic between the 2 of them. Wash is her best friend. They're thick as thieves. So much loss and grief in this story, and right away at the beginning, everyone seems to have lost somebody. Everyone seems to be needing help because they're losing someone that is in this book. And so I understand the connection between Gothic fiction and this book, even though I don't think it's quite Gothic, because there's no castle, there's no big manor, it's not a dark, gloomy setting, but emotional distress is there completely. The obsession with everyone around them, the obsession of her, of trying to get her to do another magic trick pretty much, and she's refusing right now. She's very scared. She did, however, bring back an insect, and that that also made her pass out and go to the hospital. So something else is going on between this magic and her. I don't know if it's a safe thing for her to be doing this over and over again. It's just a really interesting look into grief and human nature. I really like it. We made it to my sister's. Where's my phone at? We're trying to make a wig work. We're gonna see what we can do here. All right, here's one fit. We're gonna go and try to set up a little cute little candlelit area for reading a book. I thought this would be the perfect place for an isolated setting. And there's a perfect shot I'm gonna try to do with my sister.
This is my sister. She's the photographer of the day. It's like a perfect day for our gloomy Gothic weather. I just finished this book, The Wonder of All Things. It is so touching. I teared up. I teared up a couple different parts in the end of this book. Towards the end, I don't cry I don't cry very often in books, but I definitely teared up a couple parts. I just wanted to quickly update you guys on that. My kids are sleeping in my bed, so that's why I had to escape into my closet to give you guys an update quick. But I'll give you my thoughts tomorrow morning. I finished it. And as you can tell by last night, it was emotional read. I don't understand why it has 3.4 stars. I think this is such a beautiful read. I think there was only like 3,000 reviews on this, and this is an older book. I just think more people need to read it. I think it got into the wrong hands. If you need everything spelled out for you in a book, then maybe this isn't going to be for you, but I really enjoyed it. But I also enjoy books that might have a little bit more of an ambiguous ending. The rest of the story was just gorgeous. I thought the human nature and
I thought the writing of characters was perfect. He gave a little snippet. I mean, this book is less than 300 pages, or just at 300 pages. And what he was able to do with each character and let you know who they are, what they're struggling with, their individual personalities, all within this little book. I just feel like that is such a huge accomplishment. He's a great writer. So I don't know, I really liked it. And now maybe it's also because I'm reading it in a Gothic mindset, because it might not check off all the boxes of a Gothic, what makes a Gothic book a Gothic. It, like, for example, the setting wasn't quite there. We don't have the gloomy manor or castle or, you know, something like that where you stereotypically have in a Gothic novel. I'd like to argue that the topics are there. That you have obsession with the town and how, I mean, it was constantly about this need for her magic ability, her need to step up and stop being so selfish and, you know, all that stuff. And then you have her, she's haunted by her mom's memories. She's haunted by the fact that her mom passed away and she has this gift. Could she have done something more? And this memory of her, all these memories are constantly coming up every single chapter, just a couple pages, but it's enough to let you know, like, after a while, you really feel like she's haunted by this memory. And then you get this emotional distress of everyone. Everyone has lost somebody. Everyone is suffering. Everyone, I mean, not just with grief, but with making ends meet, needing money. And now that they're bribing people of this town to get information, I mean, it's hard not to give in. It's just this dismal feeling throughout. She's isolated by the town. The town is isolating her. She doesn't feel like she can trust her family even, because her dad doesn't know what to do. He's trusting people that he shouldn't be trusting. Her stepmom, who is the voice of reasoning, but there's moments where she's like, because she's pregnant, she's like, but would you protect this child? Would you use your magic for this child? And she's just like, great. Now she's just like everyone else. You know, it's just, so there's everyone, she just feels like, she can't trust anyone except for Wash, her one friend that she helped at the very beginning. He's the only one that she feels like she can rely on, that she can escape with, and that she has. It's just, you feel that isolation. So because it's kind of written in a goth arc, you know what I mean? I think maybe that's why people are confused, because it's not listed as a Gothic literature. So I don't know, I think it has a little bit of cross genre. I would say literature and Gothic both combined. I really like it. But I think this author does a really good job at doing that with all of his books. Well, I've only read one other book, so I guess I can't really categorize him as that way, but the last book I read from him was hell of a book. And that was paranormal. It was very speculative. I just feel like he breaks the rules a lot in his books. He's such a creative writer. I really like him. Sorry if the angle is really weird, but I didn't know if I should have you just looking at my face while I'm looking down the whole time, or if you wanted to see kind of what I was doing. So I guess let me know if I'm doing this in future videos, if you'd want to see my book journal, or if you'd rather see me. And sorry for the background noise. I've had a really late start to my day today. I got my son to school and I already picked him up, preschool. I got some cleaning done, I guess. I did not start the book till a little later. I started this book, Poor Things. I'm only about 40 pages in, but I thought I need to get caught up with my reading journal. I've tried so many reading journals in the past. This is actually from last year, and I did so much. Here, I'll show you some of the pages. I did so much. I'm so extra. And I did all this work right away. I just went crazy. And then I just stopped after like 2 months. After 2 months, I'm like, don't feel like it anymore. Yeah, I did all that work and I only got through this many pages and I read 199 books. I did not get very far. So I've started over. I'm hoping I get better at keeping track and taking notes. Here's my Gothic page. I drew a little castle. And then I've had this book in my past too. And I just put pictures of the books that I read, but I didn't write anything on it except for the very beginning. Very beginning I did. That's it. That was the year before this one. And then the year before that, I did, oh gosh. I did 2 of these pages where I drew the covers and I wrote what the book was about. That's it. And then I just glued a bunch of pictures of all the books I read that year. Oops. A bunch of them, not all of them. I'm not good at following through sometimes. So I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna go a lot simpler. I'm not doing all these crazy things. I'm just gonna write about the book. And if I want to print off a picture of the book, then I will, but I don't have to. But here I am trying to do a little bit. We'll see. Anyways, the book that I'm reading, we are in Glasgow, Scotland. Oh, what was the year? The year is it's in the 1980s. And we follow, what's his name? Archibald McCandless. Archibald McCandless is his name. And he just wants to be a doctor. He is passionate about it. He doesn't make a lot of money. He meets Goodwin Baxter, who tells him that he has brought a woman back to life. He introduces her. She's very young, naive, seeming mentally. They said that they thought her mental state was at a 4-year-old right now, but she's learning really quickly. He said just 6 months ago, she was at a newborn baby mindset, and now she is at 4, he calculates. He said he found her, she committed suicide, she jumped off of a cliff or something, and she had a baby inside of her. So he doesn't know anything else about her except for she obviously was very depressed, very upset, very scared, what have you. That'd be a good idea to erase all of her thoughts and memories. So that way she could just really start over and not just be this depressed, angry person. So doing that, he reset her mind to be a newborn baby, pretty much, and going through life and experiencing things for the first time. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm really excited to see where this book's going.
Mom?
What, bud?
I need help.
Okay, go over there. I'm gonna come over there and help you in a second, okay? I should hopefully, it's my son, it's my youngest son.
This book will stay with me for a very long time. I'm so impressed by this author. He's a man. He wrote this in the 90s, and he wrote about feminism and about liberation and about the problems with society's boxes. It's a book that you have to sit with for a while. We have a woman who had a life of despair and was forced to do things and was groveling at feet of men because that's all they know. We have a society that says that it's okay for men to cheat and men to be despicable, and that is just a part of their nature. They have to fulfill their lust. They have to fulfill their need, and they need to respect their wives' purity.
their wives are not allowed to be lustful. They're not allowed to be passionate. Otherwise, they're sent off to the madhouse. And we have this woman who was so depressed by that she committed suicide and was brought back to life, and now has the brain of a child that's growing so rapidly that those boxes no longer exist for her. She's not aware of those boxes anymore. And when she is confronted by different men, they are enamored by her because she is like a child, which is disturbing in itself, that these men want her so badly because of her childlike mind. It showcases that fetish in a man that wants that innocent and pure, untouchable person. And then you have this woman who just wants to be happy and like a child, and goes out and faces the world face on as a woman's body, but yet she's not conforming to these roles that everyone expects her to. And it's so beautiful. She experiences the world around horrible people, but yet she still knows who she is and what she wants from the world. And it is a beautiful story. I've heard that the movie hits the themes on the head a little bit harder, and I am so excited to see that movie now. I can't wait, and hopefully have an even better understanding of what the book was trying to say. The book is a little bit more subtle. I couldn't have picked 3 better books to do this vlog with. They were all great in their own way and completely different spectrums of goth, what goth fiction is, what gothic fiction is. I keep saying goth without saying gothic, and I don't know if there's a difference between the two. I don't know why I keep on saying goth instead of gothic. I'm sorry if it's wrong, if it's incorrect. This was just a great experience. So I'm definitely gonna do this again. I hope you guys had fun watching it, and please subscribe, like the video if you liked it, and hopefully I'll see you next time.